Be confident, be bold, be authentic, but don't forget to take action. This is Ordinary to Badass, where our stories empower women to step into the spotlight of their own lives and pursue what they're truly passionate about. It's time to step into the arena and become more than just extraordinary. It's time to become a badass with your host, Marie Sonneman.
Welcome to Ordinary to Badass, episode number 199. Can you believe that we are 199 episodes in? I am so stinking excited. I can't even believe we're almost at 200 episodes. So today, we're going to do something a little bit different. I am going to read you the first chapter of my upcoming book, From Broke to Badass. It is on pre-release now. I would love for you to get a copy. I'm expecting it to come out on April 25th. Currently, the ebook is available, but soon the paperback and hardback will be available too. I don't know if I've shared, but April is Financial Literacy Month. What a month to get control of your finances, to make a change. So if you are ready to finally get out of debt, to start making changes so that you can set yourself up for retirement and for your future, now is the time to do so. Do it in April while other people are doing it too. And no matter what age you are, no matter where you are, getting started now will put you ahead of the game. So with that, let's get to the episode. Welcome to Ordinary to Badass. Whether you're ordinary or badass, I am so glad you're here. Today, I'm going to share the first chapter of From Broke to Badass, my new book. So let's get to it. In the beginning, I have great respect for the past. If you don't know where you come from, you don't know where you're going. Maya Angelou. My financial story. It was day one of what I expected to be an amazing 10-day camping trip. My mother-in-law was also on the trip. We had just set up camp. I went to the camp concession stand to buy the girls and my mother-in-law ice cream. I used my debit card, and it was declined. Let me repeat that. It was day one, and my debit card was declined. I could say that I was immediately embarrassed, except I wasn't. I thought, did someone hack my account? Forget the fact that I had been spending like a wild woman up until the camping trip. Until that fateful day camping, I had always called my bank if I wanted to know my account balance. That was my way of budgeting. According to NerdWallet, a budget is a spending plan based on income and expenses. In other words, it's an estimate of how much money you'll make and spend over a certain period of time, such as a month or a year. I know now that calling your bank is not the smartest way of managing your money, and it leaves a lot of room for error. While I also probably knew that at the time, it had never been a problem. I would call my bank, this was before online and mobile banking was really a big thing, listen to the recent transactions, and they were all mine. I had to explain in front of my mother-in-law that I was broke because I had overspent in the days leading up to the vacation. I was embarrassed and mortified. I thought, never again will this happen. The day when my card was declined was one of my breaking points, financially. I was making a decent amount of money, and I still couldn't pay my bills. Take it from me, if you don't have a financial plan, the more money you make, the more you will spend. On occasion, I had to ask my parents for money. How embarrassing is that? I should have had enough money to cover my bills, but I never seemed to have enough. Why did I tell you this story first? Because I have been where you are. I have felt embarrassed and overwhelmed, and by some miracle, I was able to find my way out of debt. If a girl who sucked at math and knew nothing about finances could do it, then you can too. In the beginning, I had no clue how far in debt I actually was. Literally, I had no idea. All I knew is that I was in over my head with debt, and I didn't know how to fix it. You might be asking yourself how I knew I was in over my head in debt. It's simple. I couldn't always pay my bills. Sometimes my card would bounce. I would be late on paying bills because I didn't have money, or I would ask my mom for money. Yes, you read that right. As a married, grown-ass adult, I had to ask my mom for money from time to time. It was mortifying. When it came to my finances, I didn't have a budget. I paid little attention to my spending and stuck my head in the sand like an ostrich. The difference is ostriches build a nest in the sand, which is why they stick their head in it. The only thing I was growing was debt. I was sticking my head in the sand as an avoidance technique. Have you ever done that? I didn't want to know how much money I owed to different companies because my spending was wildly out of control, and I was afraid to face the reality of my situation. I'm grateful for my experience being in debt and getting out of debt, not just because I went on to become a financial coach, but because it changed my life in so many different and unimaginable ways, which you'll learn more about in a little bit. Have you ever heard the fable about a toad that was put into boiling water? Just in case you haven't, let me share it with you. If you put a toad in boiling water, it will jump out immediately. However, if you put them in warm water and slowly turn up the heat, they will die because they don't feel the gradual temperature increase. I sometimes think that toad would have been me if I hadn't actually written down a budget and seen the total dollar amount that I was in debt. Seeing that you were in $106,000 in debt quickly helps you put into perspective that you were in a pot of water and about to die, like the toad. When you get into debt or trouble, slowly over time, you stop feeling guilty about it. Debt becomes your new normal. If you had no debt and woke up the next day with $10,000 worth of debt, you'd probably feel overwhelmed at the thought of it. Don't let being in debt become your new normal. Before you know it, you could be filing for bankruptcy. I know people who have filed for bankruptcy with only $20,000 worth of debt. $20,000 is a lot of money. And I don't know your financial situation, like how much income you have, but you can pay off more than you think you can, and quicker than you thought was possible. If, on the other hand, you have managed to stay out of large amounts of debt, but you don't know anything about budgeting or finances, now is the time to learn. For a long time, I paid my credit card every single month, but I eventually stopped worrying about overspending because it was the new normal. I believed that I had a large income and I should be able to buy what I wanted. Also, when I used a credit card, it was like Monopoly money. It didn't feel real. You begin to forget about the long-term effects because you can pay it off later. I thought, as long as I can make the minimum payment, I'm good. In the process, I forgot the fact that interest adds up quickly and can make it harder and harder to get on top of the situation. For most of my life, I had managed my finances well. I had credit cards and continuously paid off the balance in full every month. At 18 years old, I got my first credit card, and I had heard all the cautions about having a credit card. Like, you'll go into debt and not be able to pay it off. You don't want to pay your bills in full every month, otherwise it'll affect your credit score. Ignoring what I had been told, I decided to pay my bills off in full every month. I went to buy a car at about 21 years old and was told by family, friends, and the car dealers that I would need a cosigner to be approved for a car loan. Before my car dealer experience, I had been told there was no point of having a credit card if you're going to pay it off in full every month. I did it anyway because my credit was excellent. I bought a car without needing a cosigner. I didn't tell you that story as a promotion for credit cards or car loans. I told you because I want you to know that everyone has an opinion about money, but it doesn't mean that that what they tell you is accurate. People are well-intentioned, but don't take everything they tell you as truth. When it comes to your personal finances, ask someone who has gotten out of debt or has no debt themselves. Or pay the money to go to a professional. When you have questions, ask people who are experts in the field. An expert is someone who has personal or professional experience dealing with a situation that you are going through. As I got older and was married, I found myself going more and more into debt. I was depressed and spent money to feel better. I also adopted my spouse's, at the time, spending habits. Do you ever do that? When you're around someone, you somehow start to adopt their habits and mannerisms, whether it's spending habits or otherwise. For example, do you find yourself saying the same thing that they say? It's funny how that happens. Now, to be clear, I'm not blaming him for my financial problems. I was a grown-ass woman making my own decisions. He and I had separate bank accounts. One large problem was there wasn't regular communication about spending. Since we had our own accounts, we both felt entitled to spend or save whatever we wanted to. Another problem was I hated being in debt. It didn't feel authentic to me. I was a stepmom and didn't want to be without a backup plan for my kids. One of the ways I tried to solve my life problems was buying things. Whenever I wanted something, I bought it. I was like the little girl, Veruca Salt, on Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, that said, "I want the Oompa Loompa now, Dottie." I stopped waiting for things and just bought everything I wanted and the moment that I wanted it. Do you want to know what finally changed my financial situation? I read several books and a blog by Ruth Soukup, and she gave tips about organization and life. The things she said resonated with me because I wasn't a naturally organized person, and her advice really helped me feel more organized. When Ruth talked about her struggle with finances and said how she got out of debt, I believed what she did might work for me as well. I decided to trust in what she said about finances because her other advice helped me. Oddly enough, I don't think I did a lot of research into other financial programs. Ruth said she had gone through Financial Peace University and it changed her life. So I bought what she recommended. She was able to stop buying so much stuff and start saving. I followed what had worked for her. I remember ordering Dave Ramsey's home study course on personal finances called Financial Peace University, FPU. I felt nervous, overwhelmed, and a hint of excitement. I had no idea how it would change my life. This is what I wrote in my journal when I ordered Financial Peace University, also known as FPU. I'm starting FPU because I need a total life makeover. I need to stop being depressed, greedy, and no more of the want mentality so that I can have things. I am giving up a couple hours a week for my finances so I can get to where I need to be. I want to change my story and my path. The foreshadowing there was so amazing. In hindsight, I am always shocked how much getting in control of my finances has changed my life. Obviously, I had an inkling all along that my financial journey would be powerful. I hope it's the same for you. Once I got the kit for FPU, I immediately watched the first video and started creating a financial plan. I was so addicted to spending money on stupid stuff at the time that I wanted to spend money on supplies for Financial Peace University. For example, I would tell myself that I needed a certain type of pen or marker for this book. Really? A pen? As if you don't have one of those around the house. Can you relate to the feeling of wanting or needing to buy something for everything you do? I think it's that need for instant gratification. Realize that if you want to take a class or use a program to help you get out of debt, you will likely have to pay a fee. It probably won't be easy for you to spend money to get the help you need, especially if you feel like you're drowning in debt already. It is necessary. If you need to work overtime or an extra job to get the money for a program, then do it. We tend not to value things that are free or cheap. Think about it. When was the last time you got a free PDF or ebook from someone online? Did you sit down immediately and read it? Or did you download it for later and never get back to it? If you are paying money to get a financial coach or to buy a program, it will be challenging, but it also requires more of you. You know the saying, when you pay attention. There's some truth to that. When you are broke and you have to pay for a course, you will value it more. If it feels hard, that's okay. Use the hardships to keep you committed to finishing the program and getting your money's worth. If you don't believe me, make a list of the things you value. Pause for a moment and write the list down. Now, I want you to look at the list. Tell me, how many of the things on your list were free? Did you prove me wrong? I hope so, but if you didn't, that's okay. It's just something to notice. When I talked to author Sherry Lowe on the Ordinary to Badass podcast number 88, she said, most of the things that I love don't cost me. Lowe said when she thought about getting out of debt, she thought she'd be miserable or how she wouldn't be able to take the kids anywhere and worried the kids would be the ones to suffer. Lowe said, but when it came down to it, the thing she treasured the most was iced tea. It didn't cost her anything because she made it at home. If you decide that getting your finances in order is something you want to do, let it consume you. Not in an unhealthy way, of course. Listen to radio shows, podcasts, and read books about money to help you find answers to your money questions. They will remind you of the dream you are chasing, and they will help you with your financial goals. They may even stop you from making a money mistake. After years of debt and stress and not knowing how much money I owed, I purchased Financial Peace University to help me get control of my finances. I found out that I was $106,000 in debt. Yikes. I was overwhelmed by how much I owed. Up until that point, I knew I was in trouble because I could feel it. I could feel the pressure building up. A late payment here and being short of money there. I knew deep down that not tracking my spending was causing me problems. Yet, I had no idea exactly how much trouble I was in. Panic set in. I worried that if I didn't get control of my finances, then I would have to file for bankruptcy. I didn't want to do that. I was incredibly embarrassed by my behavior. Never had I ever been close to that amount of debt. I wondered, how was I going to get out of it? If I hadn't actually written out how much debt I owed, I might not have taken action. I may have kept worrying and feeling uncomfortable, all the while never taking action to make a change. Sometimes it feels more comfortable to ignore the problem. If you're ignoring your debt, I'm not judging you. I understand how you feel. Ignoring the problem doesn't make it go away. Usually the problem tends to get bigger. There is so much freedom in writing down how much money you owe. It gives you a starting place. You know how much you owe and to whom you owe it to. It can be overwhelming, but also exhilarating and freeing. Let that overwhelm be the motivation for you to get out of debt. Write down the total amount of money you owe to include everything except your mortgage and put it somewhere where you can see it often. This will be a reminder of where you are going and what you are pursuing. Okay, so back to talking about Financial Peace University. The program I purchased arrived in the mail, and I was told to save $1,000 and pay off my smallest debt first. I wrote down all of my debts in the month to come and found out I was $106,000 in debt. I felt both exhilarated and overwhelmed. I also felt incredibly stupid. I didn't understand money. I was horrible at math. How was I ever going to pay off $106,000 in debt? How? If you are feeling stupid, you are not. If I can pay off $106,000 in debt, so can you. Actually, you can pay off more. Don't let your feeling stupid get in the way of creating something amazing that can completely change your life. When it came to creating a budget, I hated it. Even now, I don't feel like hate is a strong enough word to describe my feelings towards a budget. All I could do was create a list with all the bills I had to pay each month. For the first month, I collected statements and wrote down all of the account's information in a spreadsheet. For example, I wrote the company's name, contact information, due date each month, the total owed, and the monthly minimum payment. Nothing fancy. I didn't understand how to budget by watching the Financial Peace University videos, so I watched every YouTube video that I could find about budgeting. I didn't want to create my own budget because I felt too stupid. I kept trying to learn even when I didn't understand it, and nothing seemed to make sense. Eventually, I started doing my own budget. I kept trying to create a budget until I understood it. I learned that a budget wasn't as hard as I was making it out to be. I will certainly be sharing what I learned along my journey in hopes that you won't have to struggle as much as I did. I did learn that you don't have to do it perfectly. Just keep creating your budget month after month and doing the best you can. Something's got to give. And if it doesn't make sense immediately, it will eventually start to. Month after month, I paid down my debt. I worked as much overtime as I possibly could so that I could pay off my debt as quickly as possible. Working overtime was the best thing I could have done initially, just to give me a boost of motivation and confidence. It was a quick start to paying off debt. If overtime isn't an option for you, consider getting a second job. Before you say no, realize it is only for a short amount of time. Become debt-free, and you will have more free time because you won't have to work such long hours to pay off debt. You also won't have the stress of being in debt or not being able to pay your bills looming over you. Don't underestimate the toll that can take on you. There was no part in my debt-free journey where I was perfect. I went through a divorce, that did not cut down the debt, and had several unexpected large bills pop up along my debt-free journey. I also routinely messed up. I just allowed myself to make mistakes and then get back on track without beating myself up too much. If you can be kind to yourself when you make mistakes with your money, you'll be so much better off. Just stay the course and you will get there. I can't wait to hear your success stories. Be determined to get through this. You can mess up, budget wrong, overpay for things, and you will still be okay, so long as you are determined to see this through. Remember, this is a marathon and not a sprint. The goal here is to develop lifelong spending and saving habits. The feeling of being debt-free is almost indescribable. There is a weight that gets lifted off your shoulders once you are debt-free and you feel free. Once you are debt-free, you can say, "Billionaire status, here I come." As a matter of fact, you can start saying that now. Getting out of debt may feel like an insurmountable hurdle, but believe me when I say, just take it one step at a time. You will build up more and more confidence as you pay off more and more debt. If you aren't in debt, the same is true for your savings. You will build up more confidence the more money you save. As you do so, it will start to open so many possibilities for you and show you what you are truly capable of. Have you ever done something that you never thought you could do? Think about that memory for a minute. When you accomplished the goal you previously thought was hard, do you remember that amazing feeling of accomplishment you had when you did it? Now, I want you to think about having that same feeling when you pay off your debt. How freaking awesome is that going to be? I can't wait to hear about it. After I paid off all my debt, I became a certified financial coach through Ramsey Solutions. I ran several marathons too and lost a bunch of weight. After that, I started a financial business which turned from ordinary to badass. Being a badass is about confidence and mindset, not about physical strength or toughness. I started as a police officer and lost my confidence because my mindset was weak and I was busy comparing my situation to everyone else's. I was in a role where others would think I was a badass, but I didn't feel like one. Paying off my debt gave me the confidence I needed. I realized confidence and badassery comes from within, not from an object like a gun, a motorcycle, or a cigarette. None of that would have happened if I hadn't created a budget and started planning for my future. Becoming debt-free changed my life and confidence in so many ways. I'm excited to see how becoming debt-free will change you. The journey to become financially responsible taught me the importance of being persistent and consistent. I learned that things will go wrong and you'll make a bunch of mistakes, but that's okay. You can still become debt-free. Consider the errors as part of learning while you're on a journey. The main thing is to know that you may make mistakes and that's okay. You may get back on course and become consistent with your budget and financial plan you created. Enough about me and my story. Let's talk about you. How to get motivated to get out of debt. Where do you get motivation to begin, especially when you haven't been motivated in the past to get out of debt? How do you know when to spend money on a program or a coach in the first place? It can be hard to make these decisions or know what to do when you are trying to get out of debt. You're in debt. You feel guilty for all the spending, and now you're supposed to spend money on a coach or a program? I know how you feel. I know. I felt trapped. I was in debt and I didn't know what to do or who to turn to for advice. I wanted help getting out of debt, but I didn't know what program to purchase or if anything would work for me. I didn't want to spend money on something that would put me further in debt and not help me. I also worried it would just be another thing I would buy and never use. If you're anything like me, you don't want to spend more money when all you want and need is to stop spending money and get out of debt. When it came down to my money, I don't know what I was doing or what I should be doing. If you are feeling that way, it's okay. Here's what I do know. You are reading this book, which tells me you are ready to learn, you're ready to change. I love that you are willing to be different. Your journey starts here today. As much as this moment may feel like it sucks, remember it well, my friend. Right now is the beginning of your journey to become debt-free. The more you feel like you are in turmoil right now, the better. Those feelings of anxiety and uncertainty will fuel you to make a change. Let's go. Remember, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, own your life and your decisions and get after the life you want. Hence why I say own it and get after it at the end of each podcast episode. I want to share with you a quick story. It's actually about my mom. Yes, I know, I'm shameless. I'm bringing my mama into this. But that's how I roll. A couple of years ago, my mom was struggling with finances. She had never created a budget and felt like she didn't know how. I'm sure she felt the same way I did. She probably felt too stupid or too slow and didn't understand how to manage her money. Honestly, I think this is more common than we think. Anyway, I sat down with her and helped her get everything together. First, we found her mortgage, utility bills, etc. I helped her gather everything possible. She also decided where she would keep her bills in the future. For some reason, unknown to me at the time, that was helpful for her. All she needed was someone to sit down and help her plan, gather all her bills, and determine what she owed monthly. Overcome your own resistance to budgeting. When you first start the process of getting control of your finances, do the best you can. Allow yourself to believe that you will make it work and you will get out of debt no matter what. I see it over and over again where people are overcome with self-doubt and confusion. They feel like budgeting and finances don't make any sense to them. They assume they must be doing it wrong or tell themselves they are stupid, as if they are slow and everyone else in the world has it all figured out. Stop worrying so much and have faith. You can do this. Nobody is perfect at budgeting when they first start. As a matter of fact, you may never be perfect at it, but you can always improve. The only way to overcome fear is by taking action. You are reading this book, so I believe you are an action taker. The process of doing a budget month after month will help you to get clarity. It just may take some time. Fear not. Everything will eventually work out if you are persistent and consistent. I believe that is true for most things, including health, wealth, and excelling at anything. The main thing is to stop calling yourself stupid and stop beating yourself up. Remember, when you learned how to ride a bike, you likely didn't get up and ride the first time. You fell down over and over again until you finally figured it out. The same will happen with your budget. As long as you stay determined and stay positive, you will be okay. You are right where you are supposed to be. How do I know that? Because it's where you are. If you hadn't made all the money mistakes, you wouldn't be where you are right now. You probably wouldn't be reading this book right now. Maybe there is a lesson in what happened to you with your finances that you are meant to learn at this point in your life. Those around you deserve to see your success story. It's possible that you can inspire others to handle their money when they see you getting control of your finances. You just never know what conquering one area of your life can do for you. It can set you up for success. You just need this one little win under your belt. I say this because that's exactly what happened to me. Getting control of my financial situation encouraged me to gain control of other areas of my life. I will keep telling you this because it's so compelling. Get control of your finances and it will change your life, my friend. Okay, that's a wrap. That's the first chapter of From Broke to Badass. I would love for you to grab a copy on Amazon. It's currently on pre-sale. And the Kindle copy is only 99 cents. The price will go up. And here pretty soon, hopefully in the next day or so, the paperback and hardback will be available as well. But grab your copy so then we can have great discussions. I cannot wait. I literally am so excited to see how this helps people because I want you to change your financial future. I want you to get out of debt and to set yourself up for retirement and for your future and for wealth and being a millionaire. I want all of those things for you. So head on over to Amazon and grab your copy of From Broke to Badass. And yeah, let's have a conversation about it. Let's talk about it. I want to know how it changed you. So take a screenshot, put it on Instagram stories, and tag me at Ordinary to Badass. Or just DM me and let me know what questions you have or what successes you have. I want to hear from you. That's what lights me up, is getting feedback from you, letting me know what resonated with you, right? All right. With that, we'll end our show. To all the badass women out there staying in the arena, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, own it and get after it.
Now that you've listened to this episode of Ordinary to Badass, we want to hear from you. Go to our website, ordinarytobadass.com/podcast, and submit your own experience on how you took your life from ordinary to badass and get the chance to be on a future spotlight episode of the show. That's ordinarytobadass.com/podcast. While you're waiting for the next episode of the show, wipe off the sweat, dust off the dirt, and get back in the arena.